Broke him.
I'm trying to keep the wheels together.
He's back, baby.
Yeah!
So this is the Triforce, of course. We are going live, and I am Matthew Bugrell, the Matt Man, your host. And in the very crowded Projanger box this week, we have Christopher Bristow, the old man, Katarina Thermoscara, all the way from Thermoscara, Wonderful Woman. We have our Iron Kelly Collins, as well as the man himself, Mark Gervais from the ACPW. Welcome, sir. It has been a while since we've seen your ass. Although,
literally,
there we go.
There it is.
That's the money
there
shot.
It is.
Although,
It is a nice ass, though. It is a very nice ass.
we went to an event, and I did get I took the chance. I took a picture of Mark when he was leaning over to talk to Chris, and I got a picture of Mark's ass, and I sent it to him, and I said, I'm about to make this a t-shirt. I kind of feel like I should still. I mean, I'm sitting next to a cardboard cutout of the guy right above him.
Yeah. I think you should. We'll make it a twinning shirt.
Yes.
I'm liking this idea as a good.
I'm gonna Photoshop that.
Your face right on top of Mark's
No,
ass.
it's gonna be my ass next to his ass.
There you go, twins. That's what we named the shirt, twins. Just like the movie. I like that.
Which one is Danny DeVito?
I mean,
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I don't know. We'll leave that up to interpretation.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah, nice and smooth. Like the start of this show, because we want you to hop over to pjandwh.com, where you're going to find all of the crazy, luggy, and nutty moments right up top, as well as all of our podcasts. Last week's Triforce podcast, Digital Hoarder, Xavier's Buddies, as well as the previous Lug Nuts podcast, Horror of Diesel Horses, Cadillac's Golf Cart. It was a nice golf cart.
One, I love our podcast titles. Two, we had the New Dad Gaming on last week.
Yeah, man.
They were hilarious.
Fit right in. Like a fucking glove. It was one of the podcasts. You know, you have a good podcast when you enjoy doing, producing it, performing it, editing it, and promoting it.
And
during
that podcast, we came up with Digital Hoarders, which we know Matt is attributing of. So now we have a new A&E show where he has to hit the delete button on his gaming collection because he has too many games and his hard drive can't compete.
I don't know why I'm being singled out, but I feel attacked.
I don't think there's an actual problem.
I don't think he's gonna do it. I don't think he can.
Look, man, I might play that some point if I ever get done editing.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Computers are bigger on the inside.
Which is a carousel in and of itself. But
oh, I like that, Steven.
a lot like the second page.
That was a good segue.
It was a good segue, but a lot like this, Steven is on the second page with Walljanger Gaming. You'll click on that button and find Big Brother streaming Monday to Fridays from 3 to 5-ish, if migraines and work allow. Yeah, you'll find him there. He's on Mass Effect right now, going through the Legendary Edition, and changed up his shirt when he's doing his live show. So you'll see a different shirt.
Looping it around.
So we start off tonight with Hayden Christensen getting more work, Uncharted without a mustache, GTA's remastered trailer, and much more. We start over on the first story, which, of course, like I started off with, Hayden Christensen is to return as Anakin Skywalker in the Ahsoka series. Major news coming from the Star Wars universe, although we already know that the upcoming Ahsoka series will feature fan-favorite characters. Hollywood Reporter has confirmed that Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen, will appear in the series. Christensen will reprise his famous role alongside Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. The plot details for the show are currently under wraps, but this casting reveal is major for many reasons, especially for fans of the franchise of the animated series, which is a huge point right there. Really being able to mess around with Hayden Christensen and Ahsoka Tano's character, give it a little bit of backstory, make it something that you can build on. Maybe she's talking to Anakin's Force Ghost, and they're like, oh, remember that one time? And then it goes off into a dream sequence. However cheesy that would be. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could do with Hayden Christensen having a role on this, as well as his role in Obi-Wan. So we're getting more Christensen. How do you guys feel about that?
Does he ever smile?
In real life.
In real life, yes, and it doesn't look weird.
Why would he smile? There's sand. It gets everywhere, and it's impossible.
And
to
then
wash
if you
out.
smile,
Trust me,
it'll
I
get in
know.
your teeth. And then you just hate sand more.
I'm into it. I think that especially the Clone Wars have given him his character a whole redemption arc.
Oh, but
And I would like to see that continued into live action
Rebels
with the original
really,
actor.
Rebels really kind of pushed that Ahsoka, Vader, Anakin kind of relationship there as much as they could too. To where this is like one of the really good storytelling points, because Ahsoka Tano, created by Dave Filoni, obviously Hayden Christensen was a George Lucas choice. So
I think he did a phenomenal job and all. Yeah, so I think
it was just a little tad smidge, little bit too much of a little bitch. But by the last movie, they fixed
he was still a kid. He was still a
That
kid.
was not his choice, though. That was the choice of the people that were making that film. That wasn't his personal choice, and everyone's learned from that. And this is a beautiful opportunity. He's the right age.
Mhm.
He still looks like him, and I think that the way that they can segue this would be wonderful if they treat it right. And I have all the faith in the world in the Dave Filoni and that crew, and in making Anakin or Darth with whatever side we see, because we may not see Anakin at all, and maybe just full on Darth Vader this whole time. I think he's going to do a great job. I'm here for it.
I'd even be down if it was just like for a epic lightsaber battle between the two. If that's all we saw of it, and then done, I'd be fine with that, even as just like a small cameo that just makes a badass scene. Like they did with Mark Hamill in the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, which, I mean, not to tell.
That was CG Mark Hamill.
Well, still, he was still involved.
Yeah,
actually
but
is.
I cried in Ultra K40 on that.
They just de-aged him.
I'm fine.
They de-aged him. He
It's
wasn't
crazy 'cause
doing
they were
action
saying-
sequences.
What do you think, Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, me? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think if they keep him limited to about 15 seconds of screen time, he doesn't come in. Yeah, because the guy, he may have grown up, but that doesn't do good for trees because he's a wooden actor.
Jesus.
This is a good point. This is a good point to point out that Mark is a bit of a bad guy. He's a bit of a Sith himself.
Yeah, but it's true.
We all saw it at the
Hard
live event.
disagree.
At the live event, the ACPW.
Yeah, hard like wood.
Like, come on,
Him
man.
in the town. He was good in the town.
Yeah.
You ever see
He
that
was
movie?
good in
That
lots
is
of things.
such a good movie.
And then he was good as Life as a House. That he had some range in that movie. It's like, so you
Life
got to
as a
give
House?
him.
Was the house made of wood?
It
That's
technically
why
was.
he fit.
I'll stop.
We know you will.
I'm excited. I'm not a Hayden Christensen guy. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go subscribe because he's there. I like the character, and we'll have fun with that. I'm sure it'll please a lot of people. You
But
know
at
what I
the
mean?
same time,
Let me throw this out there
Yeah.
for the haters,
yeah.
because it seems that Matt almost feels the same way as you. Almost. What?
Yeah.
Who would who would be better suited for that?
Well, here's the thing. I don't necessarily hate the choice of Hayden Christensen coming back. I like the fact that he's getting work and that he is getting the chance to do this role. I am just going to keep my overall judgment, back until I see what he puts out with this character.
Plus
Because he could always grow
here.
it past just Darth Vader and a mask, especially with the storytelling now and really good writers behind you with the actor and his demented mind. He will create something good.
Let's put an asterisk on this real quick, because the prequels, when they came out, were so lambasted that it probably affected his performance, like he was just phoning it in.
In my middle school mind, I didn't care. I was like, Star Wars! That was it.
Yeah, but that you were in middle school. Thank you for making me old, fucker.
That's your name is the old man. What do you want?
But it's I just
Chris, you're getting more wrinkle. Every time I see you, you have a new wrinkle on your forehead.
Wait a minute. Wait, aren't I
thanks for
older
the
than
stressor, Kelly.
Chris?
Yeah, but
Chris,
you
thank you for forgetting. Am I
9
older
months.
than you?
but
Okay.
you live in
So
you live in
please
Thermoscara.
be respectful in your old man talk when old ladies right here.
So
Oh, you live in Thermoscara.
So-
You're beyond age. That's like
I'm
a
like
time
right behind you guys.
I
She's
think-
eternally
Thank
youthful.
you.
I
Thank you.
think
Anyway, yeah. What were you saying, buddy? After we just shit
this
over
will-
your
it
entire
will
state.
allow
I'm
him-
back.
His character grew up. He grew up as an actor. He's more appreciated now in this role,
Mhm.
and people will actually accept him for the performance he'll bring. And because there'll be that appreciation, he might actually be able to deliver more.
He's going to have a darker role this time. He doesn't have to be the lighthearted
But I
Jedi
think that we're still
turning
negating
bad.
here that was the direction that he was being given in the
Yes.
prequels, to be more emo, to be more
Yeah.
what he was. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't
Because
him
it was
coming in and
very
being like,
early
guys,
2000. Yeah.
I have a great idea. Like it wasn't him.
Look,
And the stuff
your
that he's
script's
done
fine,
since then
but I want to go more
has
emo.
been good.
The Town's like one of my favorite movies. I mean,
I
he's
think
really
when
good.
you talk about the fact
He's
that
very good.
she's such a Nicolas Cage fan and Hayden Christensen made a
Nicholas
movie with Nick
Cage.
Cage. Yes, where he played a crusader with a patch over his eye. And I'm going to be honest, it was a pretty badass movie. The acting was horrible, but it was a pretty badass movie.
So is Knowing.
There's always
Bad-
those movies.
Bad
or
movies are
TV
usually the best
series.
movies, and I'll die on that hill.
There's always those movie or TV series that are it just has like bad acting, but something about it, you're like, you know what? I'm in this one.
The Last Starfighter.
Oh
It's
gosh,
one-
yeah.
It's one of my favorite all-time movies. The acting in that movie.
I actually
Kroll.
By Adam Sandler.
look. I love this.
I will
movie.
never not watch Kroll or Solar Babies. They're trash, but I love them.
I will
My phone
always
break.
talk about this movie, even though sadly I made Big Brother sit through it. But Rubber, it's so horrible, but it's just so
So
goddamn
bad.
funny. It's so bad, but I just love
It's
it.
horrible.
It's about a psychopathic tire. How could you not
Shaq-
love that? It turns
Shaq
into a
2
tricycle
is
spoiler.
probably the best game there is. Spider-Man.
Nothing
On to
puts
the
us
next
back on
story.
the rails like that because Spider-Man's swinging us over there. But we're stopping on an epic battle that might be. Ahsoka might
And
have
that's
an
the
epic
episode. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
battle. Because Luke Skywalker is not actually the chosen one and did not bring balance to the Force in Return to the Jedi. Contemporary Star Wars
he's dead.
canon has basically recontextualized Luke as just some guy. In other words,
he
he's mostly shaped by
Some
circumstances
guy.
rather than destiny. We've never been shown a chart of Luke's metachlorian count relative to those of other Jedi. Well, I mean, there weren't many at that point, so they didn't have exactly a board
It
doing.
was him and the other guy.
There was no
Wait a minute.
statistics.
Wait a
His
minute.
father.
You mean to tell me it wasn't just a little prick?
You know,
lot
there,
of
it,
pricks.
it wasn't just like there
was a
wasn't
lot of
statistical
pricks and
data
they were
on Jedi
everywhere.
because they were in hiding. The Empire would have like squashed that shit. Like, all
Can you
right.
imagine? Can you imagine the Empire coming to your door and doing a census? You know what I mean? Like, hey, we need to know your midichlorian count, by the way, for the census.
It's just a little prick, and then we can tell you how many metachlorians you have that you'll never use ever because you don't have the discipline to become a Jedi.
I would watch a show about guys that had to do that. That would be funny. That would be funny.
Call it the metachlorians.
Yeah.
So Suffice to say, Luke's skills as a Jedi in the Mandalorian show his fighting skills have improved since the last movie, but he's still nowhere near like Ahsoka.
Well, she was trained
She was
as
in-
a Jedi.
She's a master at this point, but like I'm not taking Padawans.
She was formally
Just doing my own
trained.
thing, man. That lonely wanderer kind of role, I love her in that. That's why I loved her appearance in Mandalorian. To like, oh, she's just been fucking like hobo hitching it around the galaxy, just doing good where she goes this entire time, just walking that.
What I loved
great
is right
Jedi
out the
path.
gate we had her fighting. That was something I thought we would have to wait to see, but nope. That payoff
Fuck
was
no, Ahsoka's gonna throw hands, son.
throw sabers.
She's been casually walking the galaxy this whole time. She's ready to get down.
Punching people in the face with her lightsaber in her hand, like bop. It's called negotiations. You know, sometimes
Jedi
it's the
way.
Jedi way.
The negotiations were short.
You know, she says something, she doesn't get a response, bop. That's the Jedi way. You know, just like the samurai. And tasty floor shrimp.
Oh, I was holding back on the mentioning. I had some floor shrimp the other day. They were delicious. Are you
Floor
drinking?
shrimp? I am.
Yeah. Okay.
She was going to have a shawarma if she knew you were going to be here, but you know, on such short notice, you can't expect much.
I'm no longer banned. I don't have to. I would still fuck up a shawarma. though.
That ban has been lifted. Yes. I will send you some floor shrimp. I'm sure you'll love it. It's delicious.
What is a floor shrimp?
It's shrimp
Chris, get
all
your
over
chair
the floor.
out of the way and then pull that picture back up
I'll
and
pull the
show her.
picture back up. Yep.
Yeah.
What is a floor shrimp?
It's a shrimp from the floor.
Oh, from your party. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, are those cockroaches or something? Because I was about to throw up, but okay.
You know
That's
what?
Was it the 5-second rule?
That's actually
No, more like the 20-minute
it was
rule.
like 20 minutes after, but we were on our way out and he was like, "Oh, I'm not going to eat it. Just take a picture." I really
You could have
appreciated the
totally
comedy.
made that up and said I ate it. Yeah, I would have.
Were y'all drinking?
No.
No, it was
actually.
at Hibachi. We couldn't even get sushi because they couldn't hire a sushi chef. I hope they.
Oh, that was fun.
Kelly was tempted to run back there and make some.
How much you paying?
Who's got the net? I should come down in May and we can celebrate all our May birthdays.
Oh my God, that's an
Well,
amazing idea.
We're already doing that with the with the Comic-Con for that on Memorial Day.
Oh, right. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm talking like it's a new idea.
Apparently, we've thought of it. But in the behind the scenes Mandalorian, remember that season 2 special on Disney Plus, Filoni makes it pretty clear, wondering aloud, I don't know who has been teaching Luke sword fighting training lately. You know, so if we see Luke versus Ahsoka, I don't know. That kind of gets me excited for season 3 of Mandalorian. And that is not a young Dennis Leary. That is young Christopher Bristow with apparently a love for Flock of Seagulls.
What does that have
That
to
is
do with
Larry.
Star Wars?
I'm
Find
an
out his background.
asshole.
But yeah, he is.
I sang that during karaoke.
Every chance he could.
Leo.
In contrast, Ahsoka has received training from the Jedi Temple. So if this is the fight, I think Luke is going to find out real fucking quickly who's boss. So in this battle versus Ahsoka Tano versus Luke Skywalker, who's walking away?
Oh, I think Ahsoka.
You think Ahsoka? I think Luke
I do.
because Luke
Well,
is actually trained.
No, Ahsoka was trained
as
by
well.
the fucking. Ahsoka was trained by
She was
Yoda,
the
fucking
last-
Master Windu.
Ahsoka went through the academy and was
Anakin.
a Padawan
Academy trained
under
like-
Anakin.
Yeah, she was
But-
the last.
But the other
well,
thing
flunky.
is, once she left the Jedi Order and she went, I'm just calling it Gray Jedi, she found her balance. Luke still struggled with that right up until his passing. So I think
Yeah.
that just in control, Ahsoka's got him.
But the narrative.
Like he's never
you
had
can
to
watch
fight
it.
anyone
It
that
comes
OP before. Like
But-
and this is not talking about the books.
Yeah.
Just on film and TV shows.
Yeah.
Who has Luke had to fight?
Besides his dad, who could have been
But what
holding
about-
back
Besides his dad,
subconsciously.
who had that emotional connection to him
Yeah.
still.
But what
like,
about
who has he
what
had
about
to
the
fight as
ending
a
of
Jedi?
Mandalorian now?
That was against bots.
Yeah. We haven't seen Luke. That's why I really love if they could just do a little manipulation and get like Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker.
And not that that wasn't badass, because I was losing my mind when that scene was happening. However, I just think that like her training has just been more extensive.
Yeah.
Not to mention any demons that she had, she's made her peace with a long time ago, where he, up until, like I said, the very end, he still struggled with.
She was in.
I agree. That's where I agree with you on there. Is
she
has a lot more balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Now,
I don't know about the train, like the whole training part. To me, is kind of like because like somebody can be less trained and still win.
You're right.
Well,
Because
he's been OP for
and he came in and
one.
fucking
And he's a Skywalker.
But again, who has he fought at that level?
It's like Cloud.
Well,
It's
here's
like
the
Cloud
dad.
fighting Sephiroth.
But here's the
Sephiroth
thing.
is way more trained than Cloud.
Luke Skywalker is just that. He is a direct descendant of Anakin Skywalker, who had the highest metachlorian counts. He didn't get tested, but I guarantee you this motherfucker still is better than the average bear when it comes to metachlorian.
It's like
and
Gohan.
General power. Yes. Gohan is a perfect
Yes,
example.
but he's also a twin, and Leia was supposed to be the chosen one at the beginning.
Damn. Because you could technically get either of them at this time period when you're talking about Mandalorian season 3.
Yep.
So, fuck. I mean, I guess that's the
So-
ultimate. Look,
But you know, she was trained under Yoda, under Anakin. She had
Yes.
Obi-Wan. She had all of these people training her from childhood
But-
to young adulthood.
but
You can't
Luke,
discount that.
Luke had a
It
bunch of
still doesn't
dead
mean that
Jedi.
her force is going to be better than.
Luke had Yoda,
He had a bunch of dead Jedi, you know, just the film only
started-
segments a little
who
bit. Maybe
basically
he
was
talked to
like, "You're asking
Qui-Gon."
too many questions. Let me die right now."
No, all right. Listen, just because she was trained by so many people doesn't make her stronger than him.
Yeah, but brute force isn't what it takes.
Not brute force. Her counts might still be lower than his because of.
She is
where he
also
came
an
from.
alien species that may be more aligned in the Force, so it
I
could
just
be.
want to
She's
say I
been-
love you
She can
all
live
here.
hundreds of years.
Now,
We're
the
having
one
a
with the
very
highest
serious conversation, you
midichlorians was
fuck.
Anakin, and she held her own against Anakin as Darth in the temple in Rebels.
Yes.
Yeah, but
So
Luke
she's
beat
already
Anakin.
fought the most OP.
Luke beat Anakin.
He beat his his
No.
father let him win. There's a
Yes.
difference.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
If you play box
father
with your
took
daughter,
pity
are you
on
not
him
taking an L? You're
And
taking an L
unplugged his
for her confidence.
controller and plugged Luke's in so that Luke could win that round. That's
Yeah,
what
man.
happened there. And that's
So-
why it was Anakin who ended up bringing balance to the Force, because he's the one who just said change sides at the end and
And
helped
they were playing
try to bring
Star
down
Wars
the
Masters
Emperor.
of the
Look,
Parasite.
If there's 2 Sith, and then at the end there's 2 Jedi, I think that's equal. All right. Maybe they just
Triangle,
saw.
square.
I'm not going to say it's not going to be a hard battle,
It-
but I
all
do
Luke,
think in
Luke,
the end Ahsoka's got it.
Luke hit is up, down, left, right, BA, select start, and he won against him.
Yeah. But if you thought this conversation was a battle, then this next story is going to be a
Oh.
world war, because Marvel leaks plans of a World War Hulk movie.
Like green good.
When's it smashing in the
Really?
theaters?
Hey,
Hey,
Is this going to be a multiverse thing?
It's going to be a knockout hit.
I bet it's going to clobber the box office.
Oh, that was nice.
That was very punny.
That was good.
World War Hulk is a 2007 comic book storyline that essentially picks up where the events of Planet Hulk's story, which was partially adapted in Thor Ragnarok, left off. Angered about being banished from Earth by the Illuminati, which was, not that Illuminati. It was,
Spaceship.
no, it was
Doctor
Iron Man,
Strange,
Doctor Strange, Namor.
Black.
Black Panther was in it, but then kind of not in it. I don't know. And then Black Bolt.
Bolt.
And
Bolt.
they were the Illuminati. They were protecting Earth and guiding them from the shadows because
I'm a huge Black Bolt fan.
they knew better, and they were like, Hulk, meh, meh.
You're a huge fan of Black's Bolt?
We do
I'm
not
a huge
kink
He
fan of
likes
Black
the
Bolt.
strong silent types.
He does. But we don't kink shame here.
We do not.
No.
So
No,
World War
I've
Hulk,
always been a big fan of Black Bolt.
yeah,
That's
You-
dope.
he had a lot of restraint. because even if you just kind of like roll over in your sleep and half your fucking moon colony is gone.
I mean, he killed his parents, man.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Just don't
but
piss him off.
they shouldn't have pissed him off.
It's your own
I've always
fault.
been a big
Insert
fan.
with.
I
I'm
mean,
a
he
big
killed his
fan.
parents,
That's
man.
me. That's me. I pity. I feel bad.
Maybe
Like,
his parents should have taught him mindfulness meditation. You ever thought of
Phrasing.
that?
nah, I feel bad for
Maybe,
him. Like
maybe he would have turned out better.
There
I
was a
don't know.
couple episodes of Black Bolt in what was it?
That shitty Fox
X-Men,
show?
Spider-Man. There's a few of them where it was the cartoon. Oh my god, he's just
Oh yeah.
he literally. Ronan was on a ship, and he just went
There he is.
boom and just blew everything up. Everything. It just all he has to do is just entire world gone.
Stop. And then, yeah, no, that he is a super OP character, which he does need a very good adaptation done of his character in the MCU eventually. Okay.
Yeah, but you
But-
know who can beat him is a lot of people can beat him. He is OP, but he can be beaten pretty easily.
You know who could beat him? The Hulk. Remember him?
Thanos.
So World War Hulk follows Bruce Banner as he returns to Earth with a group of Scarran refugees known as the Warbond, seeking revenge for his both his banishment and the Illuminati's apparent involvement in the deaths of his family. The storyline sees the Hulk going toe-to-toe with the various members of the group, including Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and Mr. Fantastic. We forgot to mention him because he was obviously Reed Richards is, one of the smartest people in the MCU next to like Amadeus Cho and a couple other people. But having this kind of premise for a Hulk solo movie, which we have not gotten Hulk solo movies because of copyrights. They had certain
Universal
agreements and
owns
stuff, and
Hulk, yeah.
and they were like, not today, bitch. But I think we can have a real promise for the storyline of the Hulk raging out and being silenced, and like after he was obviously hurt, his ego is hurt from battling Thanos in the beginning of Endgame. Or no, Infinity War. So his ego was hurt. He didn't show up. Didn't come to the party. Then Bruce Banner's like, guess what, big guy? Boom! I'm kicking down the door and going halfway. I think that would kind of piss off the Hulk, and he's going to fucking take over because obviously She-Hulk, she gets her powers from a blood transfusion after an accident, and her cousin, Bruce Banner, gives up the blood in a very dumb move. Like, you're the Hulk. Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's probably going to be.
Desperate times calls for desperate measures.
Didn't they already put that thread that can happen when they did the Incredible Hulk movie with when Stan Lee was drinking the juice that the blood, he cut himself and he got the blood in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we can have a nice premise here to where we actually get a good Hulk movie. Something that we can actually gnaw on and say, no, that is the fucking Incredible Hulk. Because I've had my major problem with the MCU has been Hulk's portrayal. It's nothing against Mark Ruffalo. He is a great Bruce Banner. But when it comes to Hulk, it's a bit off.
Hopefully he'll be able to get it done. I want to see this movie. I want to see it done right.
I mean, having Hulk.
I've seen this said about the Spider-Man actors too, that they're either a good Peter Parker or a good Spider-Man, but not necessarily both. I really liked Eric Bana.
Yeah.
Eric Bana's portrayal of Bruce Banner, yeah.
Yeah, I liked his Bruce very much.
Were you guys a fan of Ed Norton's version?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I wanted more Ed Norton in the MCU, but he split because he wanted to make the Hulk more dark. And they didn't want to do that. They wanted him to have this different kind of
They wanted
comedic
the Hulk
flair
to own a
in the.
puppy.
Yeah, they wanted a puppy.
He's like,
Yeah,
So they
Ed
made a
Norton
great
can't
game.
go from American History X to PG Hulk.
Yeah.
He did Death with Smoochie.
That's
he
very
can.
true. But that had
I
Robin
forgot
Williams.
about that movie.
That had Robin Williams. Robin Williams will do that to you.
Yes, it will.
Would have done that to you.
That's
He's
fair.
done.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
But I mean, it's nothing against Mark Ruffalo. I really hope that him getting a World War Hulk movie will really kind of bring everybody around on this character, because nothing stops the Incredible Hulk. He just gets angrier and he just gets more powerful. That's what makes him such a good character, because of the split psyche in Bruce Banner versus the Hulk. It's that battle which makes this character such a beloved hero. So we'll have to see how it
Mark
turns out.
Ruffalo in real life, like his absolute love for everyone and everything. I think that's fantastic. So I
Yeah.
want him to do well, just because he seems like
he's
such
a
a
good
genuinely
human
good
being.
guy.
Yeah.
Good soul.
Like when he he blurted out the name of Avengers Endgame on Jimmy Fallon. He's like, guys, please bleep that out. I might lose my job for real. And then the fucking Russo brothers are like, "You're fired." After the movie was
But, like,
done. Like,
The meme of him seeing everyone else that he's in a movie with, like being so excited to see everyone, and they're like, has anyone told him that he's famous too? Like, because he's losing his mind over seeing everyone.
oh yeah.
Like, dude,
and he's
you're
like
an
on the
Avenger
red
as well,
carpet
sir.
with his phone, and
Yeah.
he's like taking pictures
Like-
of people.
Taking pictures of Chris Evans, like, whoa, Captain America. Dude, you're an Avenger too.
Yeah. So I'd like to see more
So
of him.
cute.
He's going to be in She-Hulk, so we're going to get that series, I think, next year at some point.
Okay.
Disney's still kind of keeping those new series a wrap. You know, we already got, especially, well, it was probably because of COVID. That's why we knew all this shit coming out. They're like, we got to tell them we're working on something. And now they're like, all right, well, we're taking our time. You know, got to make, post and editing and all that. We got to make the process right. But, I mean, there's no big dump. Like DC, they just did a big fucking dump. We talked about it last week with the New Dad Gaming on the fandom. You know,
Yep.
they were like Black Adam, Peacemaker, Batman, Harley Quinn, take it all. And you did, and you loved it. Because all the shit that they fucking released on fandom is amazing. Marvel's just very close to the chest. They know you're going to watch it. And I think that's very ballsy. It's like landing
Speaking
a
of
plane with
DC,
your arms crossed.
Speaking of DC, on to the next story.
Yeah, man. DC has cast a villain for the new Batgirl movie in one Mr. Brendan Fraser.
Well, guys, I got to duck out. I'll see you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you for
Hey,
joining.
Mark, anything you want to promote, man?
Maybe like another ACPW event.
December 18th, we return to media. Holiday Havoc. You can come and see me get punched in the face, or dudes jump on me, or whatever happens, usually terrible to me. So
Retro.
it's everyone's holiday gift.
Nobody jumps on my man.
Tons of dudes right here. He loves
Yeah.
taking it.
Oh,
By
they
tons
We
of
gotta
dudes.
we gotta
Right
work your
here.
twin in there. We gotta work your twin.
I would love
Kelly
to.
comes in
I would
and
love
saves
it.
the day.
I would love to be part of that.
Like you're about to get you're about to get a chair to the face, and Kelly jumps
make
in
it
the
happen,
ring.
Mark. I
He's
can take
like,
some pain.
no, not my twin.
All right, guys, I'll see you.
All right, brother.
All right,
Mark.
see you, brother.
Everybody
Mark.
go and check out the ACPW, American Champion.
December 18th,
Wrestling.
Holiday Havoc.
Yes, I went.
Exciting.
I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun when I went there because I told Chris, like, I'm not a wrestling guy. I was sitting back there. I was doing some production, and old man was doing his thing, and I just got to sit back and, voyeuristically watch the show, and it was great.
I don't think you're a voyeur when you're at a show watching a show.
I'm just that creepy old guy in the back.
I was that
whenever
creepy
all
guy
these
just
fucking
watching the
kids are
show
walking
and
around.
enjoying it. How dare I?
Yeah,
But can you
it
scroll
was a lot of
down,
fun.
like, so we're not looking at that creepy picture of Brendan Fraser?
I mean, he's looking.
Yeah.
He's always watching us.
He's looking.
He looks like he's trying to take a
at
poop.
you, Ray.
Yeah, he does kind of have that
He's
face.
trying to squeeze one out.
Like that interview he's doing, he was
That
playing
is
Nintendo
not at all the
Switch.
vibe I'm getting from that face.
You're not getting that from that face? I just kind of feel like
Not-
he's got a
that doesn't
neutral
look like
face.
a poopy face to
He
me.
almost looks like a Rodney Dangerfield there.
Well, he did.
That I
grow-
can
he
see.
he gained some
that I
weight.
can see.
He gained some weight. That's why he played Mr.
What?
Robot.
Well,
He's
haven't
finally
we
getting
all?
He's finally getting the respect he deserves. So
He
Oh, I'm
deserves
sorry, man.
all the
I'm
accolades
sorry.
and respect
It
and
looks
good vibes.
It looks like all we have
My
is
mummy-
poopy face.
That's
He's
the
a
only
handsome
photo.
fellow, nice and thick.
Yes. But he is being cast as Firefly, a sociopath with a passion for pyrotechnics, opposite Leslie Grace in the Batgirl movie. So they got a nice villain here with Firefly in this movie. I'm very happy, Kat. You're shaking your head.
Me too. No, I'm nodding.
He can play the dark roles well.
He
and I am
absolutely
glad
Oh yeah.
he is getting his just dues because
He really
has been
deserved
shit
more
on
work.
by the business for quite a long time.
Yes.
And just get him.
And then he was made a meme.
And because of everybody's love for him in the past, like his resurgence is outstanding. I'm so glad
He is the reason why I first checked out Doom Patrol. I was like, oh, it's got Brendan Fraser in it. I'll fucking watch that.
I'm
And
glad.
let me
that
tell
he's
you,
getting his
whoever
back in.
gave him that role,
Oh yeah, Chef's
whoever
kiss.
did the casting for Doom Patrol, just in general.
Oh,
but
yeah.
his casting in that role was fucking perfection.
Amazing.
I cannot imagine anyone else
Yeah.
playing that role.
Oh yeah, no.
And a
he
lot,
is
a lot of
yeah.
times when you look at when you look at casting, you can tell if they're a fan or not. He is a legitimate fan.
He was
of
playing
all
a
the source
Nintendo
material.
Switch before an interview. Like, come on, he's a nerd.
He can show you an entire character arc in the first 5 minutes of the introduction of his character. Like you see the whole gamut within that first episode. I think it was the first episode. It might have
He's
been
an
the
onion,
episode
man.
after the
You
pilot.
just peel it. You
I know
keep
it's
on
probably
going
hard.
back.
But how many people can convey that range and not make
Oh,
it
yeah.
feel like forced?
Like it's
I mean,
robotic.
it was
yeah.
brilliant. It
Yeah.
was brilliant.
What's your favorite role with Brendan Fraser?
Crash. He was
Okay.
fucking awesome in Crash.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
It would.
I'm
That's
gonna
a
sound like
tearjerker
such
of
a
a movie.
basic white girl saying this, but the Mummy, the first two Mummies,
They were good. They were good. I
will
was
always be like to me.
The Mummies were great, but if
was the
Matt,
when he
watch
was
Crash.
feeling himself the most.
What
I'm not
was-
saying it's his best performance ever,
What was the one?
but
it
I
was
do
like
feel that was when he was feeling himself, like he was comfortable in his
Bewitched?
skin and what
No,
have you.
not
in those
Bewitched,
films.
But what was the movie he did where he made a deal with the devil?
Oh, with Elizabeth Berkley, Bedazzled.
Yes, Bedazzled.
Is it called Bedazzled? I think it's Bedazzled.
Do it.
Bedazzled. It was Elizabeth Hurley.
Yes,
Yeah.
Elizabeth
What
Hurley.
What did I say?
You
Who's-
said Berkeley.
who is-
Berkeley was Saved
Oh.
by the Bell.
Elizabeth Hurley
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
fucking gorgeous. And she's an amazing actress, obviously from the Austin Powers series. Then she goes into this movie with him. And I love the story. And it's that common guy getting the genie's wish. And he's just like, wow, this sucks. This is
I mean, he
asked
goes
for.
from like Monkey Bone and
George of the
Inkheart and The
Jungle.
Mummy, Crash,
That
Encino
George of the
Man.
Jungle was fucking amazing, as well as Encino Man with fucking Pauly Shore. He's just been in so much, and then to just have that flame die out was so sad, especially since he's a great guy. Now he's getting more work. Doom Patrol, and now we're seeing him as Firefly in Batgirl, which
This
I was
is
already
actually one of the
excited.
benefits of the whole Me Too movement. This is actually the positive side from that.
You get
because
these
he
people
did
who are
have-
good people.
He did have some bad shit happen to him, so he just kind of
did.
exited. And so with the whole Me Too, this is the part where like the Me Too movement was actually a positive for him. Not saying that it was, the movement as a whole wasn't executed correctly. Just like, Chappelle said, but it wasn't executed correctly. But there are like the basis of that movement. There were positive points that this is one of them.
Yeah.
He was also brilliant in like School Ties. I mean, I know that we're
Yes.
just, but everything that he was in, he was good in. And I'm so glad that he's managed to get through all of that bad crap that he went through and is now on an upswing. And I hope that
Yeah.
it continues and he continues to thrive and all that good goes to him because he absolutely deserves it. But
And
being
the
cast as
genuine-
Cliff Steele, whoever did that, you're a fucking genius.
Absolutely. 100%. But Kelly, what was your favorite role from Brendan Fraser?
I like the Mummy.
Okay,
Aw,
right there we
yee.
got
I love
Mummy
the Mummy.
Buds.
I love him in
I
The
like-
Mummy.
I like both of them. I thought they were both good. Mummy and
Yeah, the
great.
first two were great. The third one I
Yeah.
don't really care for, but the first two were freaking amazing.
I don't think I watched the third one, but I did watch the first and the second one. And those movies
it-
were
was
The
the
third
second-
one doesn't count. They recast Evie. Forget it. Don't even. bother.
I wasn't a fan of the CG Rock. At the end of this
Oh,
movie.
as the Scorpion King, yeah. I
That
mean,
was a
everything
little
else
ridiculous.
was great, but that CGI was. I think
I mean,
would
they even
prefer
had
if
him
he just
doing like
came
the
out as
people's
The Rock.
eyebrow.
Yeah.
They even had him doing
Yes.
like the people's eyebrow. He's like, ugh.
It looked a lot like the WWE games from the time.
Yeah.
With honors. That was a good movie with Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was Joe Pesci
Yeah.
and him, and they were playing
good.
off each other well, very well.
Yeah.
He's a talented actor, and I hate that stuff. And I don't want to get into it because I don't know. If he wants
Dudley
that
Do
stuff
Right,
he has,
Blast from the
but
Past.
Yeah. He had a
I
very
love it in
illustrious
Blast from the
career.
Past.
And now he's
Oh, you know
getting
what?
more
You know what? A
stuff.
really good movie that's actually pretty. I liked. It's kind of a kiddie-ish movie. The Inkheart.
Yep,
Do you
that's a
remember
great
that
book
movie?
series.
Yeah.
It's a great book series.
So anything he writes would come true
Oh.
Right.
in his book.
It was the talent that he had.
Yeah. It was,
And if he read a book out loud, then what he read would come to fruition.
That's an
yeah,
interesting
and
premise.
it was like it was a PG movie.
It's a series. It's a book series, and they made one movie. And I think that they were trying to like build on that, like they did with the Spiderwick Chronicles and Harry Potter and all that. And it just didn't take off because unfortunately the movie translation
It was part of that craze.
didn't go over
where
well
you
with the
buy-
book fans.
You find a
But the
novel
movie
or
was a
book.
good movie. I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah,
If you have never read the books, the movie on itself was really good. The casting was really good. Everyone that they cast in those parts were very
Mhm.
much like their book equivalents. Unfortunately, it's like they tried to cram more than one book into that film. And
Yeah.
so you missed a lot. Like it assumed a lot.
Well, that's almost like the M. Night Shyamalan effect, I'll call it, with the Avatar Last Airbender series, because he tried to cram too much into that fucking first movie. When you try to cram too much of a book into a movie, it gets lost.
But I
where-
still enjoy that movie on its own.
Yeah.
And like I said, the casting that was done for, well, I'm talking about Inkheart.
Oh, I was like, well,
Not
if
Avatar.
You really enjoy Avatar,
Sorry, I was
then
back on
watch 'em.
Inkheart. I
I'm not
still
gonna
enjoy
kink
watching
shame.
Inkheart for what it is. And again, the people that they cast to play the roles were all really well cast. I just
Yeah.
wish that whoever was behind the screenplay and put all that stuff together was looking at the long game instead of just trying to push something out in the hopes that it would turn into a series.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing that happened with the Spiderwick Chronicles. Like it didn't go anywhere after that first film.
Yeah. Well, I got to say that I kind of think that just Firefly alone is not enough for this movie of Batgirl. And she needs a rogues gallery of her own going through Gotham
It
on a
probably
night.
won't be the only one. They usually do too.
But I can't wait to see who else what other villain is going to be in there, because with Firefly, there's a bunch of different ways you could partner this, especially in the DC era, with all the different.
It's
people.
interesting that they have him playing two separate characters in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is an Earth something else thing.
Yeah, but well,
Right.
that's
They're two
how they
different Earths.
treat their films. They always treat their films as like, well, we can do whatever we want, and it's a different Earth. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Which I'm
I'm interested
fine
to
with.
see what Earth this is.
Like a lot of
which
people
Earth
think
this
that there's a battle between like Marvel and DC. They're actually really friendly towards each other, and they've done crossovers in comic wise and all this in the past all the time.
Yeah, they
like
love
several
the spoon.
times. They love
They're
that
all
shit.
about it.
Like they feed off each other. So them doing their film universe differently is not necessarily a bad thing, because you can just do another Crisis or a New 52. You could just reboot and bring everything together in a nice film package that will have everybody eating out of your hand. So they're building to something. But we're going to check, and we're going to see what Batgirl has on at some point in 2022 on the HBO Maxes. It's going to premiere.
On
So
the Maxes.
it's going to be a series with the Batgirl.
on all the new profiles on the Maxes.
Yeah. Thank God. Because it randomly just blipped out. We'll blame, HBO. But somebody else who's planning is this next story, which is always
That was a good segue.
because Sony announces 2 untitled films. Sony has revealed that it's releasing 2 new Marvel movies in 2023. Although no information was given about these projects, the 2 untitled films will supposedly take place in Sony Pictures' universe of Marvel characters, a cinematic universe featuring heroes and villains across associated with Spider-Man. So, kickstarted with 2018's Venom. The Spummock is set to gain some speed in the upcoming years, so we'll have to see how the Spummock goes.
Their
Sony
stomach's acting up again.
Yeah, the stomach is.
They got a pill for that.
It's acting up twice
It's
in
not
2023.
Pussing, is it? You got to go to the hospital if it's pussing.
You know, that's actually a really, it's a very thoughtful disease that it tells you, like, hey, in 2023, I'm going to act up twice. Oh, my stomach's going to act up in the future. Thank God I know with my handy app. I mean, it sounds like an app thing in the future. You just be like, oh, look at that. I got a cold.
Oh, Hercules.
But, I mean, with these films, I just hope they're not just going to keep doing villain pictures. You know, like it started with Joker, and now we're going to, like, give us some, you know, some content here. Don't just keep putting out individual flicks and just think we're just going to keep buying it.
We will.
Well, yeah, but I don't want them to do it that way. I'm trying to put my line in the sand now. Like, look, I'm not walking past this line. And then they walk away. And I'm like, all right, well, look, I'm not walking past this line. And then they walk further away. It's the game.
And you go, never mind, I'll just watch.
And you just keep drawing and walking and drawing and walking.
No, get back here. This line matters. No, this
I'm
one.
telling
no,
you,
one. No,
this is the last line.
Uh-huh.
Because
It looks
no
like a
more
snake.
sand.
This is the last line before the next one.
But I just kind of feel like, look, Kraven the Hunter, they're talking about a Silk movie, Spider-Woman movie. I mean, I would kind of like to see Olivia Wilde's Spider-Woman movie be released in 2023 because we know that's in production at some phase of point. Having a Spider-Woman who's very prominent in the comics and then get it, because if you get her in now, along with Venom and all this that they've already cultivated, obviously we're getting Venom and Spider-Man fighting each other like they've already leaked and talked about.
What about a
Gaining
Miles
some of these
Morales
villains.
live action?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, especially because the way that they put it is that No Way Home is the end of a trilogy. So what would make that great is taking that trilogy a step further and then starting the new one with Miles Morales. Hey, there's already a Spider-Man. Now you have Spider-Men in a trilogy. The more seasoned Spider-Man training the younger Miles Morales, and have that go on in the comic series and
then after that you could get a Spider-Gwen
and keep going. It's the way that you can keep that Spider-Verse going, and then eventually let Tom Holland fall out to do other characters.
Sure, you don't want to kill Uncle Ben again? We can kill Uncle Ben some more.
Nah, we got other people
like
to
very
kill.
morbid today. It's like his parents died. My uncle's dead.
No, we don't want to. Why not?
It's different with
They're
Miles
not-
Morales. It was his uncle. His
wasn't it
uncle
his father?
died, and his uncle was actually the Prowler. So, you know, spoiler alert, his uncle was a
You've had your
supervillain
chance.
thief. So
That
he didn't lead the
score
best
for the
life.
Prowler in that Spider-Man movie was pretty freaking dope.
Oh yeah. And then I can't wait to see Into the Spider-Verse too, just to see. And
Mm-hmm.
what is it? Oscar Isaac wants to reprise his role as Spider-Man 2099.
Oh my gosh, Oscar
And I think he
Isaac
should.
and Dune.
I still have to see it, but you know, I saw that
It's
you loved
2.5 hours long.
I sat
So
through
I'll
Endgame.
watch
I'm
it
good.
tomorrow at work.
Yeah, I've sat through Endgame. I'm good. Like,
Which is like a third of a Zack Snyder movie.
yeah, but I mean, I would rather have a 2.5-hour movie than like, hey, I'm spending all this money to go see a 90-minute.
I'm gonna put it out because I don't like to do like spoilery things, and this to me is not a spoiler. But I'm just saying I was riveted. Yes, I was abandoned by my normie family.
I was about to
But
say that,
I
but didn't your family
personally
leave?
was riveted. They all left, which is fine. None of them have read the books.
Yeah.
Did
And there is
AMC
a
the
lot-
original movie?
There is no. There
I
is
was
a
going to say,
lot
because if they did,
of
they would.
exposition. They would have left before it started if they had seen the original movie. Like,
Well,
not
no, they would-
this.
They
Ultimate
would have said,
Walljanger.
they would have said, "Holy shit!" In the first second, it's way better than the first movie.
Yeah, Ultimate Walljanger from
yeah,
the
they
family
would.
chat, Joe Gilmore.
It
he asked me a
is-
question, which I actually want your opinion on, Kat.
A beautiful film.
He said, should I make my kids watch the original Dune movie
No.
before
No.
I show them this
No,
movie?
don't do that.
No.
That is what they use for torture tactics. in
No,
certain countries.
because
I haven't watched
the
that original
80s
Dune,
Dune movie
so-
fell into that trap that we were just talking about, where they,
Yeah.
because the book Dune is broken into 3 parts.
Mhm.
And in that 1980s movie, they try to cram all 3 parts into one film, and it skipped a lot. So then you had a lot
It
of
was so
exposition
confusing.
that was happening in their head. So there's just a lot of nobody's lips are moving, but you're hearing the voiceover.
I heard
And that
about it.
with
yeah.
our kids, with this generation, they're not
They'll call that
gonna
out right away. Yeah.
they're gonna be like, this is ridiculous.
Who's talking?
This June movie is amazing.
Netflix is doing
However,
that
if
thing
I
where they
wanted
turn
to
it off and
introduce
on.
somebody into it, I would wait because they said that they were going to do this in 2 movies. I would wait for both movies to be out
Yeah.
because the way this one ends, you need to watch the second part. Like I was pissed off
Yeah.
when
I've heard that too.
the credits started to roll.
But they did.
Because-
And we've even talked about how they said they were going to do multiple movies. So I was already looking.
Yeah, they
at
said they were
this
going to do 2.
as a
I don't
cliffhanger.
care that I didn't get the whole story. I knew I wasn't
Yeah.
get the whole story. Right in the opening credits, it says Dune Part 1. So I knew.
Yeah.
And I know that they're putting it into 2 parts, which is great. So this is like 1.5 parts, and so we'll get the part and a half, which is, if correct me if I'm wrong, where everything goes wild.
Yeah.
So part 1 is a lot of exposition and laying the groundwork. I would not introduce someone who's not a hardcore sci-fi fan or that doesn't have a great attention span into watching this until the second one is out, so that you can go from this straight into the next one,
Yeah.
or at least watch the next one the next day, so you're not like left hanging with a lot of questions
Yeah.
that you can't answer without completely spoiling the whole thing.
Yeah, that's good advice because I've only gone through, I'd say like maybe a third, if I'm being generous to myself, of Dune. And
The new one or the old one?
Audio version, the book.
Oh, okay.
So I was, especially with the trailer that they dropped, I was like, oh shit, I know that scene. Like I've seen that sequence. It got me excited for it, but I haven't like finished it because I feel like I need a family fucking chart as to who the fuck knows who and what the fuck is going on. But
That was
That wouldn't hurt any of us.
like Kat said, that's like with the first one. When I watched it as a kid, I was like, even in college, I think I watched it again in college. We're just me and my buddy Tyler, we're just talking about it, how we watched it he lived with me, and we're like, remember we watched that movie? And I was like, dude, I couldn't tell you a thing what was going on in that movie. I couldn't tell you a thing.
It was just so much like looking off screen and then a voice
Yeah, it
talking
was just
over them. So like you're hearing
boring.
their thoughts and you're like, dude.
Who is? You had to be stoned or something to watch it. It's like, you cannot get focused enough into that movie unless you
To
know.
watch this movie, you have to ingest cocaine.
You would have to be
You
This is the
tripping.
kind of movie that you needed to be tripping balls. And even
Yeah.
then you would be having all these wild theories. Probably all of them would be wrong, but
Okay.
yeah.
so
it was-
mushrooms or psilocybin. That's where we're
And
going.
thank you for the audio drop.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So
Which audio drop? Which audio drop?
2 new Spider-Man
Tripping
untitled
balls.
Marvel
You're
Sony
welcome.
films. 2 new untitled Spider-Man and Marvel.
Alley-oop.
Kelly, Photoshop it, please.
I have my thing set to record, so we're good.
2 new untitled Marvel Sony films will be released June 23rd and on October 6th, 2023. So we will have to see how that story, remember, how that turns out. But something that
That was a really great segue.
It was, but something that we'll probably also pontificate and ruminate on is this next story because
You make that word up.
it's a story from last week, but we were so endowed in the fandom that I just couldn't find time to put it in. But I had to come back to it because Mel Brooks is writing and producing The History of the World Part 2.
I just
I
want to say
love
that I
that
feel
movie.
terrible because I thought Mel Brooks was deceased. So finding out
I'm
that
so happy, but equally surprised that he is still alive.
I was
dude.
just gonna say
Yes.
that. Like,
I
he's
really
he's got,
thought
like, the-
that he had passed away. Like
He's-
I'm
he's
so
the
sorry, Mel
guy.
Brooks.
he had that Bob Barker thing, where he was just like
The
Dane
Patrick
Cook say,
Stewart
sitting on
thing.
strings. He's just sitting on strings.
But it's just almost like the Patrick Stewart
Weekend at
thing, where
Bernie's.
he's just looked the same age. He's always looked old. That now that
Yeah.
it's just a decreasing, age, it's still Mel Brooks. His mind is still sharp as a tack, and I'm completely. I mean, who wouldn't want another Mel Brooks film?
I'm a little worried because some of his humor has not aged
Would not be
as
accepted today.
well as some of the other humor that he goes. So I'm interested to see
Since I have started
what kind of funny
podcasting,
he is.
I have always said that you couldn't do a Mel Brooks movie today. And now we're
but
getting
Mel
one.
Brooks could.
Like
Because
Mel
he's
Brooks.
old. Fuck you. What does he care?
I mean, even
Yeah,
still.
Probably make the movie and pass away. So like,
But here's the
That'd be
thing, man.
great.
Let the old
Makes
guy
it the
make the movie that he
raunchiest,
wants.
dirtiest thing
Here's
ever.
the thing. We will still go back and watch History of the World. We'll still go back and watch Spaceballs. We'll still watch Blazing Saddles. We'll still watch Princess fucking Bride, which is,
Yes.
first off, one, if not, the perfect movie ever.
that was a Carl Reiner film.
Thank you. I was going to say that's
Oh,
not
was that? Anyway,
I agree that it's
It is a
my
perfect
all-time
film.
favorite
But
book to
the point
movie
is-
ever.
the point is that old style kind of film. That's probably where I got that thought from. But that old style film and that old style comedy, you knew this was a satirical viewpoint. Whether you agreed with it or not, this was a joke. It is art. It is comedy.
It's always
If you
it's
don't
always a
like
joke.
it,
It's-
then you have the choice to just move along and not watch it. That's why
yeah, with what
I
today is
want
though, you're
him
gonna have
to
a lot
put
of cancel
those-
culture.
hard. I want him to put those hard jokes in there because I feel like it's something that our culture in general is missing. Is look, bad humor is still humor, and fucked up people like myself will still find those extremely dark jokes funny because I see the irony. You're not a horrible person. You're saying it because you know it's fucked up, and that's what makes it funny. It's an inside, you know this person's being funny. Mel Brooks, the same way. You look at any of his movies, there is that line, and he's just like, all right, well, how far can I get to that edge of the line before people will really start questioning me?
There's just talking about edge of the line. There is a story out there when he was doing Blazing Saddles. The original person to be casted was Richard Pryor, and then Richard Pryor
Yeah.
pulls out cocaine. We're ready to do a line with Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks says, "No, thank you." Richard Pryor does cocaine, leaves the room. Richard Pryor did not get the role
No way.
because Mel Brooks doesn't believe in that. And that's why he wasn't casted for that role.
I strongly side with Mel Brooks for not liking to share his cocaine.
To
That-
share Richard Pryor's cocaine? Yeah, I agree
It's-
with Mel
it's
Brooks on that
health-
one.
It's health and sanitary reasons, you know? I mean, he had his own bag in the back. There's no reason to share like that. That's disgusting. All right, it probably wasn't that. But, I mean, still, Mel Brooks.
You wash your hands, sir.
Mel Brooks
His
very
favorite show is Jeopardy, by the way. So let's.
All right.
remember
Back,
what we're
Chris.
talking about.
In fact, the whole story about the cocaine and Mel Brooks, it actually pit that Gene Wilder actually he actually didn't like that as well, and he actually found it hard to work with. Wait, I can't hear anything.
On See No Evil,
We're
Hear
not
No Evil.
talking.
There you go. Yeah, I was on the wrong screen. I was looking at us on live. I looked like I was talking like out of a Japan movie, like some kind of Asian movie.
What are you
words
doing?
aren't lining up. What's going on here?
No, but I'm saying Gene Wilder actually was not very happy with Richard Pryor's drug use as well, even though
No.
Gene Wilder
He
did a lot of
continued
drugs.
to make 7 fucking movies with him.
Yeah, but he found him hard to work with.
Well,
I'm telling
find
you,
the cat.
I don't really like
The
his
main
drug
one,
use, but-
that they had a problem with
Okay.
was
Blazing-
Hear No Evil, See No Evil. Yeah.
They- on Blazing Saddles, he had a problem with him.
Ah, okay. So a little. I mean, I always just kind of figured they were buddies because they were in so many goddamn movies that Comedy Central kept pumping out in the '90s and making us watch, but they were all fucking hilarious. So it's just, it's. I see the promise of a film from an age long past, and that old humor, that your grandfather's coming over and you're about to fucking laugh all night humor. He's the funny grandfather. That's who he
Yeah,
kinda
but I
is.
mean, you look at Mel Brooks comedies; they're all tongue in cheek with that class of comedic style, like Don DeLuise, Who else? Burt. Jeez.
Kreischer?
Sure.
No, not.
Oh, I'm
Kreischer.
sorry. We're supposed to say
Burt
it wrong.
Reynolds.
Burt
Burt
Kreischer.
Reynolds.
Yeah, Kirsch.
You know.
Forgot to say.
He was like the American version of like Monty Python.
Yeah, he was.
the closest thing, yeah.
In the same vein, you look at the comedy styles. Hindsight's always 2020. But like we also had Ghost Dad around that same time. You're not going to watch that ever again just because of the actor.
And the different kind of innuendo you'll get from that fucking title
Correct.
of the movie. Ghost Dad with Bill Cosby is
now
it has a different meaning now. A
It
completely
does.
wrong, different meaning.
So I will gladly watch a Mel Brooks movie over that.
Well, History of the World Part 2 is a sequel to the
It's
original
some
film,
kind of drill.
which was made up of segments set during different periods of world history. The stories told were set in the Stone Age, ancient Rome, and the French Revolution. It also featured musical numbers, including one about the Spanish Inquisition and, straight out of a Dave Chappelle special, Jews in Space. That was his last special. I just found that so fucking...
Wasn't that Spaceballs?
No. So at the
kind
end
of.
of History of the World Part 1,
Yeah.
but it was Spaceballs. But at the end of History
it
of the World
was.
Part
That's where
1,
I got
there was
the
a
idea.
segment.
Guys, it was a joke.
That's why she has the hat.
Chris. Well, Owen Glavin. Well, the Sector 9 of the G-Force. Well,
Did I tell you how much I miss
Glavin.
you?
Yeah, no? Oh, man. So he said, Mel Brooks says, I can't wait to once more tell the real truth about all the phony baloney stories the world has been conned into believing are history.
Well, this should be good.
So that Mel Brooks's take on history. Now, History of the World
He
Part
really is a
2.
national treasure.
Oh, he's gonna go fucking ham on that part. You're going from fucking Spanish Inquisition, French Revolution to like what now? Oh, he's
The
gonna
Space Force.
he's gonna go ham.
Ironically, Spaceballs at that time was more Star Wars than Star Wars at that time.
Oh look, Kelly's back. There was a guy. There was a guy wearing glasses there. Oh my God, Kelly disappeared. How did that happen? Oh my God, thank God, Kelly. Did you see that guy that just left?
yeah. I gave him the password to my door. The password is 1 1 2 2 2. Your password is 1 2 3 4 5. Hey, that sounds like the password of my luggage.
It's the same password on my match luggage.
So
What a good movie.
we'll have to see how good this movie will be, but a lot like our next story, we'll have to see if this one's any good as well, because Sony releases our first look at the Uncharted movie with this
That's
trailer.
a weird picture.
What a picture.
You know?
Hi-yo!
It almost looks like that's the beginning of like a Febreze commercial, or maybe like
Beginning
an
of
ad.
Like,
That looks like
you're
the
Tom
beginning of the
Holland.
process.
Oh,
This
that's
is
an Axe
arguably
commercial.
the next big thing from you playing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Uncharted series is hugely popular.
So then they recopied
And
the
this is
Nirvana.
the picture that they use.
They copied the Nirvana album
Yeah.
Well, he's
with clothes on though.
Well, yeah, because in this day and age, you can't do that. Even Nirvana got sued by that baby.
Even
we
though
have a
that guy made a
trailer.
lot of money off that.
Oh yeah, we got a trailer. The
and
first
he recreated
Uncharted.
it too.
The first
Yeah, he
Uncharted-
recreated it. I know.
Yeah,
I
the
read
first
that whole story.
Uncharted movie trailer is officially released. A film adaptation of the popular PlayStation video game series has been in development for well over a decade, with multiple directors, as we've already talked about. Nobody wanted to touch this. A lot like I'm not going there, but the having gone through multiple directors and even encountering numerous release date delays, even when the pieces finally came into place with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg starring as the iconic duo Nathan Drake and Victor Sullivan, Uncharted was hit with the COVID dick, and it got pushed back again. So now we see our first look at the movie, and I can't help but think it's hard to separate that Spider-Man from this, at least until I see the movie, because I've also saw the story that when filming No Way Home, they had to go to Tom like, hey man, you're not filming Uncharted. You got to act like Spider-Man. So
I'm really happy for Tom Holland to play this role.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just happy to see him get out and do something other than Spider-Man and actually like.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
my
something
God,
big
look
like
at that.
this.
That guy's still working. Antonio Banderas. Holy
What?
shit. When was the last thing you saw him in?
Zorro.
The 13th Warrior.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
it.
But it's been a while, man. They're bringing back all the oldies from Brendan Fraser
Once
to
Upon a
fucking
Time in
Antonio
Mexico.
Banderas.
Mhm.
You know, they
That's
like
good
the
series
look,
too. Both of those are really good.
Spy Kids.
Assassins.
The thing that people are
oh,
liking,
he was awesome in Assassins.
the thing that people
That's
are
the one with
liking about
Sylvester
this
Stallone,
trailer
right?
Yes.
is this right
So
they
here.
were
good.
both badass. in
Old
that
man, do
movie.
you remember
Mhm.
this scene from the games
He's
of Uncharted?
really trying to keep us on track. I'm sorry, Matthew.
But the cargo freight scene from Uncharted 3. They have a whole bunch of little Easter eggs in this trailer that are just, little flashbacks to the games. So they're not necessarily following the first game to a T. Although we saw the pirate ship and different stuff from first game stuff. And even right here,
They stole that pirate ship scene from the Goonies.
everything can't be stolen from the Goonies, buddy. Not everything. Although,
Hey, you
pirate
guys.
ships.
It looked just like it.
All right, you got me there. It did. But with Uncharted, we see that they're cherry picking different big action moments from the games for this movie. And
I like that.
Well, at least for the trailer.
I think that will work. Now,
Well, that's
just
PR that's good
speaking out
PR
of my
right there, though.
opinion, I just think that will work better than trying to take on that whole catalog of 200 fucking hours of gaming and cram that into one fucking movie, M. Night Shyamalan. You're cherry picking. Hey, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this. I can save this, this, and this for later. Make that a different movie if this one works out good. You can plan better for a franchise with this because Tom Holland, young actor, you can still get him to be your Nathan Drake along. I think they're playing the long con, for lack of a better word, with this Tom Holland casting. So you can get him for a while because he's already done Spider-Man for multiple feature films. So I kind of feel like they're just starting this off right with cherry picking.
And it's right to put in Mark Wahlberg because it seems that everything Mark Wahlberg touches ends up being a hit.
As long as he gets a fucking mustache, man, you're fucking Sully. You need a mustache.
Will he go pal?
I'm just saying.
Marky Mark.
Sully has a mustache.
Wow.
He needs that. But Nate and Sully, we'll see him popping in the screens in February of next year, so we don't have that much longer to wait for it. I think it's Indiana Jones, dumb action movie. That's exactly what the game series is based off of. It's just Indiana Jones, so
Which
you know the formula.
All but the last one was the best, one of my favorite all time Indiana Jones movies.
Okay,
Except for the last one. Sorry.
you didn't
You
like
didn't
Crystal
like the
Skull?
Crystal Skull?
I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. It wasn't as good as the rest, but it was still an enjoyable experience.
It's very hard to beat the other ones though.
It is
was like a one-off.
extremely, extremely hard to beat the other ones, but I can't
Yeah.
be mad at anything with Kate Blanchett in it. I just can't.
I mean, I wasn't mad at what's his face?
Shia LaBeouf.
There you go. God, reaching into my brain and taking out that name. But Shia LaBeouf, I wasn't even mad
Should
at
have
his
let him try to say it.
No.
It would have been fun.
I know Shia LaBeouf's name, Dick. But I thought that it was a good movie in the sense
I didn't
that
think
they
it
were-
was a terrible movie. It didn't feel like an Indiana Jones movie.
That's what it is. Okay. I'm huge.
they were
Being an
just
80s
more
boy, huge
experimental.
fan of Indiana Jones. So if it's on, I'm watching it. I don't care. I'm turning anything off. That's on. I'm watching it.
Right.
And in fact, it was on a lot recently. I was really excited, but it just didn't feel like an Indiana Jones movie, and that's what turned me off. It was a good movie. It just didn't feel like an Indiana Jones movie, which bothered me.
That's why there's been a gap in Zatreyu gaming because he's just been constantly watching Indiana Jones.
How fucking dare you?
I was just giving a reasonable explanation. It was all Indiana Jones watching.
Yeah.
That's it. He was just watching Indiana Jones.
24
That's what
hours a
happened.
day,
That's why he wasn't on the
7 days a
podcast.
week.
He was too
Yeah.
busy watching Indiana Jones. That's just what
You
happened.
should just live stream you watching the movie and commenting.
Or make a loop. It's a popular thing to do nowadays.
How come his popcorn never ends?
Yeah.
It's so obsessed popcorn.
It's just you eating. Oh my God, can we do that? That would be awesome. Just you in front of a green screen eating popcorn just for like a couple minutes. Maybe like you scratch your nose or something, like to key up different scenes. And then you just do it for a couple minutes. And then we just plop you in front of a movie. And then bam, that's it. Watch party with Kelly. And literally no speaking, just.
I don't even have to watch it.
You know what? You just set it and go. You could go do your normal day.
I would love to do a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type of thing. That would be so
like
that's how it
track.
starts.
We all said that. Yeah.
That's how it starts. You just have.
I
that
feel
loop
like
of
all
Kelly
of us
eating
sitting down to
popcorn.
watch a movie would turn into that, whether we wanted it to or not.
Yeah,
I think
all
we
of
should
us
do that.
chatterboxes.
Silhouette.
Yeah,
Put the camera in the back, get the silhouette going.
Discord watch party. Here we come.
Here we go.
I gotta tell you, man. All this talking, it kind of made me hungry. Like
Oh,
this next
Oh.
ad
I
segment.
feel a
This
segue
next
coming.
page.
Oh, here it
This
is.
Because I went to the country of Jersey to visit some friends, and I have
Friends.
a very long and very good friend, Ayla the boy, and she went out on her own little venture. You could scroll up so that
Across
they
the
could
big body of river, it was a moat.
or scroll down rather, because that is a great
Wow.
Oh my
that looked
gosh, that
good.
looks like something out of like Nanny McPhee or
They
Peter
are.
Pan, like like that colorful, like the Lost Boys food.
I can speak from personal experience on
You're
this.
doing it, Peter.
We're probably
Exactly.
going to have them on the beginning of a podcast at one point and just talk to them because they're amazing people. I love them to death. But they have a catering and event planning company. It's A+ Catering and Events, and this is their page. Especially empanadas and different kind of food. They are masterful. This is a video of the taco bar and empanada
How
bar that they did.
wonderful on Taco Tuesday.
Exactly. This is the whole reason why I did it, but they are very,
He said,
very
Chris,
masterfully.
shut up and sit down.
Yeah,
And let him do this.
masterfully talented. And when I checked out some of their food, it was a bunch of different empanadas, which were all great. And then I just grabbed one, popped it on my plate, didn't look at what it was. I started eating it, and I was like, "Damn, this is good." And then someone passing was like, "Oh, you like the Impossible empanada?" And I was like, "What? Impossible?"
Oh,
yeah, that's
with
right.
Meatless?
Meatless empanada. I fucking ate it.
Oh, nice.
Like calamari, man. I didn't even fucking notice. I was like, damn, this is good. And then halfway through, I was like, hang on a second. This is all vegetables now that I'm looking at it. And it was fucking delicious. That's how good their food is. Spanish rice, empanadas, some of their specialties. They're just very talented people. So I let them know, and we're going to have them on the podcast. These guys
we should reach
are
out to
Whereabouts
delicious.
in Jersey are they?
Oh, God, somewhere in the middle.
Like,
or
where do
something.
they cater?
It's somewhere in the. They cater in the. Oh, God. That's why we have you here.
Tri-state
Because
area. Tri-state
The
area.
tri-state area, because you can find them on Facebook,
And New York.
facebook.com
Thank you.
/A+ the word tri-state. So they obviously serve the tri-state area. They serve our area. If you want their amazing food, I am not
So-
bullshitting you. It is goddamn delicious.
Matt,
You will
when
go
we
ahead
talk
and
to them,
contact them
when we
here.
talk to them, we should ask them to see if they
To
want
pre-send
to
us food so we can eat it
do
live
it-
on the
If
podcast.
you're gonna say
do
be on the
do a
podcast, you said
table
it
on
3
behalf
times.
of Projangers at the Comic-Con event, and we can just talk to them and see what happens.
I mean, we can always
We can
reach
just
out.
we reach out to the Comic-Con people and just say, hey, we have this company, and, just
We got
build that
amazing
relationship.
food. Yeah, man. Hey, it's always a possibility. We are all about building people up. That's exactly why I take the middle of this break to build people up. From Tony Brown to Frank Percy to Mark Gervais in the Game and DVD Exchange to now A+ Catering and Food Event Planning. You will
Can
always
you do
find
it
a great
again?
person here.
Facebook.com/what?
Facebook.com /A, the word plus, Tri-State. And you will find A+ Catering and Event Planning right here where they will fill your belly and make your event memorable.
Nice. I just
The
gave a
link
like.
is in your chat there, Katarina.
I'm good for one a
Thank you, darling.
I'm good for one a day. So obviously that's where we keep our little mid-breather here, highlighting somebody. But something that it also needed highlighting is this next story because the first GTA remastered trilogy trailer releases online.
I saw this. It was actually
It's
it
impressive.
still keeps it's just an updating of the existing assets.
But
That's
it's
all it
also
is,
giving it
and
the
they're not-
controls of Grand Theft Auto 5.
And they're not overdoing the update. Like a lot of these updates, when they redo them, they look so overly plastic that it just kills the vibe of the update.
I
But
like
this one
it
they're actually
because
doing fairly
They
well.
keep it cartoony, kind of. When you look at all these
They
updates.
keep it in the original, like an original asset,
Yes.
but with just updated lighting, updated, like this.
Just, updated
You know.
graphics.
So they're not changing the resolution too much.
No,
Correct.
but they did make the controls and driving and all that kind of stuff.
No, I
they
like
made it
this.
they
looks
made it
great.
more Grand Theft Auto 5 so that it's an updated gameplay feel, but it's still classic looking. It is that these are your games and it looks so great. So, especially just you might as well rewind that beautiful bean footage again because I don't fucking mind rewatching that because what they did with this is a perfect explanation of what you do with a remastered, truly. Because you look at Mass Effect, they gave it updated gameplay and they just remastered the same content that you loved, and they gave you that game. They didn't try to fucking redo anything. They just kept it the same. So that's what I really like about it. It's a new take on something that is an old property, but they're not disrupting the water and changing it. They are just giving you what you want. So I loved what I saw. Which one of the games would you play first?
I would still do 3 first.
You'd go first? 3. Because it's not like
3.
it's, you could take it in any order, but which was your favorite of the 3, I guess would be the better question.
I actually liked Vice City.
I was gonna say I liked Vice City.
See, I was actually more of I liked 3 because it was, oh my God, what is this as a game when it came out?
San
So
Andreas
there's
wasn't that bad either.
A little bit of that nostalgia there to where I really latch on to 3, especially with the characters. Vice City was awesome, but I'm really leaning towards San Andreas because there were so many different mechanics you got in that game.
I mean, the cast in all the games. So we had Sam Jackson in San Andreas. Like, he was a police officer.
Yeah.
And then, he was like the police officer when you first
Yes.
dropping CJ off.
Oh my God. Yes, it was.
And then we have Joey Pants in the first iteration of Grand Theft Auto 3. We have Burt Reynolds in Vice City. We had Miss Cleo in Vice City.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Call me now for your free reading.
Oh my God, yes. It was just Rockstar just did this thing so goddamn well with these 3 games in particular. Feel how you want about 4 and 5. These 3 are almost like a sacred treasure in nerddom with how good the story is. And
Chatterbox and Laszlo went through all 3 games. That's amazing.
Yeah. He was like Grand Theft Auto's Howard Stern.
Yes.
And
In Grand Theft Auto 3,
And
he was
for-
Howard Stern.
you must
Grand
not
Theft Auto Vice City, which was pre-3, he was a rock DJ.
you must not forget Fernando.
Fernando.
Fernando and his fucking
Fernando
Ponzi
and his
scheme.
That got my attention.
Ladies.
I
But,
will.
like,
I
he
will
was
put
Fernando was like
on
he was
the
talking to
drive so
ladies,
everybody
but
can listen.
I guess what was he into, like polygamy or something? He was
No,
just a
He was
whore.
a- he was a-
One of
he
my
was a
streetwalkers
dating
on any
expert.
corner.
yeah,
It's like a pimp or something.
yeah.
And it was just like him cheating on every one of his girlfriends, and he was
Yeah.
just like
Everything, yeah.
singing in a roundabout way on the radio.
It's just Grand Theft Auto had that to where it made the benign driving to this and this point, mindless gameplay fun. Because
Didn't at
you
one
had
point
an
they do
actual
like
radio?
voicemails from actual players that were complaining or something?
I think that was in 4.
Yes.
I
But
remember that.
they continued with it to where that's why people are really, chomping at the bit for a Grand Theft Auto 6. But this is also something that nerdy gamers have wanted, is a remastered of this, especially we are in the remastered time frame. Everything's getting a remastered from our childhood because we now have these great graphics to where they can 4K wipe it and make it buyable, and you're going to rebuy it. You're going to add it onto your Steam because you're a little fucking smack addict Steam junkie, and that's why you don't have
Digital
your credit card on
order.
the fucking Steam anymore because you have a
Projection
problem.
rich.
Maybe. But my digital hoarding aside,
Now on A&E Digital Hoarding.
I'm
Matt buys a
obviously
new
going to
game.
buy this fucking game again. It's going to be available November 11th for $59.99 or €54.99 euros, or about, as we found out last week, about $80 in Canada.
yeah, the disparity in Canada. Sorry, new dads.
Sorry, man. We're a small podcast.
Yeah, it's
we
too
can't
bad,
change
eh?
international law, unfortunately. But
We we'll work it out with you. We don't know, hey, Steam games can be played on Xbox now, so
Family
we might
share.
be able to work that out.
yeah, family share. We'll work it out. But you'll be able to play this game on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and the newer Xbox Series X and S consoles, as well as PC Master Race via the Rockstar Games launcher. So you'll finally get an excuse to boot up that Rockstar Games launcher.
Forced to boot it up.
Well, yeah, but that's, the same thing. But I just made it sound a little bit more palatable. You can get the physical release on December 7th, followed by the versions of iOS and Android for the first time in 2022. So they are going to Skyrim that shit and blast it all over your face, neck, and chest.
Coming to an Alexa near you.
Yes, and your fridge and your microwave.
And this next story.
Like this
Ooh,
next
I like
story.
that one.
That was good, man. Shit. Even Big Brother coming with the strong segues because we got a trailer for Starfield. And in this trailer, they revealed their quote-unquote settled systems. A new trailer we see here for Bethesda's upcoming sci-fi RPG Starfield has landed, giving us a quick crash course in the game's setting and a small pocket of the Milky Way called Settled Systems, and a faction who
what a name.
make it an interesting place to live, to say the
Is it because there's
none the
other
least.
people there?
Yeah,
That was a speaker.
the settled system extends outward from our solar system a distance of roughly 50 light years and is dominated by two primary factions, the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective, which almost sounds like a bunch of rap groups about to battle.
Yeah, one's East Coast, the other's West Coast, and we're going to show them.
I got to tell you, in about 50,000 light years, I'm about to cap your ass. But a large-scale war occurred between the 20 years before the start of Starfield. War never changes, as that other Bethesda game says. And while the conflict eventually ended in an uneasy peace, the settled systems remains a dangerous place. Running afoul of old beef between the two major players isn't the only thing that interrupted explorers have to worry about. There is also threats from elliptic mercenaries, pirates of the Crimson Fleet, violent spacers, or even the fanatical religious zealots of House Varun. So there's a lot of adversaries in this.
It's like Children of the Atom to me.
They're just
I
renaming
know
it.
Children of the Atom when I hear them.
But it's, I mean, me as honestly a Bethesda fan, I really feel that I have hope for this Starfield being their next Fallout or being their next Elder Scrolls.
I have hope that they included a video game in this one instead of just. Go ahead, make your own game. Good luck. Good luck.
Bye. No,
Maybe
but I
they
kind of
added a
feel
game.
like, deep space exploration, you got 50,000 light years. This is just their kind of game, man. They're going to add Easter eggs all over that bitch.
Okay. Well,
And it's Bethesda, so you'll probably phase in and out of a star as soon as you're approaching a star system because there's
glitch all over the
obviously
place.
glitches.
Obviously.
Yeah. Just glitches all over your face. But we'll have to see how this turns out. Starfield is still more than a year away, but it's set to be launching on November 11th, 2022. Bethesda is already winding up the hype machine. In August, it revealed a few of the locations players will explore, including the Pleasure Dome, where tourists get hopped up on fish goofballs. And in September, it touted up a staggering size of the game's script, which weighs in at more than 150,000 lines, almost as much as Skyrim and Fallout combined. So 150,000 lines of dialogue, all this content.
Is it going to be just like reiterated statements of what do you need?
Yeah, that's it. That's most of the dialogue right there.
Actually,
Let that guy
citizen.
say, what do you need one more time? What do you
Actually,
need
the
for
entire first act is, oh,
Need
You're
something?
Oh, you're finally awake.
oh,
Need
you're
something?
finally awake. Yeah, that's the
I have a letter for you. It comes all the way from the Jarl.
that is
Need something?
that's the entire first act.
Hold on.
By the way, Gray Fox.
You know, and then long, complex dialogue that just continues to go on forever.
I need to get my speech crapped up.
Yeah, that's you just
That
keep
was
talking.
great, Kelly.
Just keep talking, and your craft will go up. Just like Kelly's movement skills, he just needs to keep moving around, and he'll eventually be able to walk without
I forget the
glitching.
guy's name. The one guy has YouTube that's really funny. He does all those.
Yeah.
I'll have to post it to you in our chat.
Was it on College Humor? They did a couple.
No, this guy, it's all he does. He's got he's like 10 of them.
Mhm.
He's so good. So good.
Is it
At
the
the,
like I saw
Halt,
the,
citizen.
I saw the one which is like it was like a save frequently, and he was like running through a forest, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta save," and he saves right before he dies, and like he's stuck in that fucking loop.
no, this guy just does a whole bunch of different Skyrim things.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. You'll think he's
There's a College Humor one to where like they act and dress up like and act like they're in an RPG, which that fucking series is so goddamn funny. And it's right along that same lines of just kind of just satirical viewpoint of the gaming experience. But we'll have to see. Starfield, remember them? Maybe next year or 2022 November. We'll see if this actually lives up to the likes of Skyrim, Elder Scrolls in general, or even
I mean,
Fallout.
it'll take 10 years, but they'll get there.
Yeah, but they're not Chris Roberts. They're actually going to put out something, even if it's not finished and glitchy. It's
They
Bethesda.
love putting shit out with glitches. They love them.
It's what they
Glitches
live
are
for.
great.
Well, that's
Let
a
fans
that's a
do it.
standard nowadays.
Yeah. Like glitching over to pjandwh.com, where we're going to go over our end segment. I thought of something last minute, but I thought, especially with all of us original Purjangers here and the clown, we could Purjang about what book, comic, video game, anime would you like to see as the next big franchise hit? There's going to be a next franchise. They got one property to pick. What is one property that you would pick? They're like, you know what? I would love to see a film series about, Courage the Cowardly Dog. And then boom, it's the biggest hit. What's the franchise that you would like to see jump off?
Okay.
I chose David Eddings' works, The Belgariad and The Malorian.
Mm-hmm. A little bit about that. I'm unfamiliar.
Say what now?
I'm sorry.
What
Who, the what now?
I'm
He
sorry.
said it like Yoda for some reason.
I had my Romulan translator on here. I'm unfamiliar with that.
A little bit about that. You speak must.
Okay. It is probably one of the last traditional fantasy book series that came out. I read it as like an 11 or 12-year-old. The protagonist is a guy named Garion and his companions. They need to recover a sacred stone. And the big baddie is a guy by the name of Torek. There's, it's fantasy. There's witchcraft. There's sorcerers and wizards and evil against good and a hero's journey. And one of the books, Sorceress of Dar Shiva, had such an impact on me aesthetically wise. This woman's skin was so translucent, and underneath the skin were swirling stars. Like it was like a galaxy under her skin, and that was where she like drew her power from. Very impactful to me, and really gave me a fantasy boner that has lasted.
Somebody more transparent than Big Brother. That's amazing.
I'm explaining it badly because I wasn't expecting to have to explain it,
but no, I mean,
yeah.
In a fantasy realm, I figure a fantasy series is more likely to be the next big hit because you have that allure of this fantasy world and what will come. There's a lot more mystery.
Katarina, is that a dramatic or like a dramedy or something? Like, is it like what?
I would say it's more of a dramedy, but it almost feels like a game of D&D.
Okay. Jinx, but yeah,
I'd like to go.
Mine is more comedic. I want Terry Pratchett's Discworld. The Wizard staff has a knob on the end. If
you're talking about the Sword of Truth series.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, but they did that TV show that was not great.
But now we actually have fans of that material that would
I do love the Sword of Truth series. It's a great series.
Well, sometimes it takes
with
fans.
The confessors and everything. Yeah, but that's why I pulled Eddings just because he's older. And I do think we're long overdue to see that translated into, because I do honestly feel that because he took his as a response to the Lord of the Rings. Like he thought that, Lord of the Rings was all that was out there and we needed something new. So he did the Bilgariad and the Memorian. And I cannot recommend enough for you both to listen to the audiobook because it's funny and it's serious and it's action packed and it's wonderful. And I do sincerely think that you would enjoy it. But I do think that our modern day D&D pulled a lot from those two series. Mm-hmm. And I think you'll see that if you were to read or in your case, audiobook it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 100% on board with Terry Pratchett, too. I love The Sword of Truth. I love those books.
There was what turned me on to
a little racy, but good.
What turned me on to Terry Pratchett was Discworld was a video game series for PC and PlayStation 1. And it was during the first year that PlayStation existed. So then once I finished the game, then I went and read the entire series. And I was just flabbergasted by the amount of humor. Just think Monty Python, Wizards and Warriors. And like that's essentially it.
Monty Python, Wizards and Warriors may actually be the title of the podcast.
Sword of Truth is super graphic.
Yes.
So.
And it can get away with being on HBO.
So it's not something you're going to show Connor then?
No. The TV series maybe that was made, I don't know, like 10 or 12 years, something like that. That very briefly done. That was called The Seeker, I think. That you could show Connor, but he ain't reading those books. Like I wouldn't let my kids read those books until they were much older.
Yeah.
My son, he's 18. I can't tell him what he can read anymore. But my daughter's 18. No, absolutely not.
So, Callie, what's your choice?
All right. So I have two. And the one's just kind of funny. I know that there was quite a few. There was at least five. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That series, because after that it was the restaurant at the end of the universe.
I was gonna pick that. Pick that.
Life, the universe, and everything. And So Long, and thanks for the fish.
Thanks for all the fish.
Yeah. Mostly Harmless. And another thing, I really love those books, and both movies are actually really good. They didn't need to remake it, but the remake's pretty good of Hitchhiker's Guide.
I like the remake.
Stuff.
The remake was nice.
But I would love to see those in movies. More, keep doing those movies.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more books. The last one I think is in 2009.
Okay.
But
yeah, the And another thing, right? Is that the most recent one? It was written by the guy who did the Artemis Fowl series.
Yeah.
I listened to the
Douglas
original Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy because Big Brother. But read by Stephen Fry, which is the only way to listen to that.
I have the heart of gold tattooed on my arm.
Nice. So there's also a comic book series that I started reading a long time ago, and I never finished it. It was not a long time ago. It started in 2013, called Black Science.
Algorithm, start suggesting.
It's a science fiction about anarchist order of scientists. So they're going through different dimensions and stuff. But there was it looks like it's still going on. I just fell off of it, but it was really, really good because I'm a big sci-fi fan. So
comics.
See, now that you're saying that, you're making me think of Lady Mechanica. I think that would make a fantastic show.
Mm-hmm.
Comics are a really good way, a good medium of continuing a fan's favorite movie or series. We've seen that with, the Batman. They're even doing Christopher Reeve Superman. They're doing a lot of stuff with these old properties, especially Batman, because you're getting Lando Calrissian. Fuck, I'm brain farting on his name. The actor.
Donald Glover.
No, the old one.
Billy D. Williams.
There you go. Billy D. Williams as Two-Face. You're getting him as Two-Face. You're getting Marlon Wayans as Robin in the comics.
Oh, wow.
You're getting this different Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, Batman universe.
Marlon Wayans in comics. You mean like Blank Man?
No, I mean,
I'm thinking.
Marlon
That was
Wayans.
Damon Wayans.
Marlon Wayans.
Sorry, there's like 700 of them.
Well, no, Marlon Wayans was Robin in this Batman Keaton-verse comic, and I love that fucking casting. Like, that is fucking dope as shit. Especially because he would be amazing. Yeah, because he's a fan. He would have been an amazing choice on that. I really wanted to see that. And then they're doing that in the comics. A nice special comic run where you get this story from that universe. That's a nice pull to where, that's where kind of like the fandom can jump off from, to where fans are really big fans of, like Infinity Gauntlet and different kind of nerddom comics that we've now seen come to light. That's a big pull from that. And a lot of stuff has come from literary and, other kind of sources, to where now things are really blowing up with streaming services looking for, any kind of intellectual property.
I have to throw in now, because of his mention of comics, which it was in your text, but I kind of blew by it because I immediately thought of the Belgariad and Malorian, and I wasn't thinking of anything beyond that. Lady Mechanica is a steampunk comic about a woman who survived a serial killer who had amputated her limbs and replaced them with like mechanical things. So she is part mechanic, but it's like that steampunky Victorian kind of thing. But she has no memory of the trauma. And she has no memory of her past or who she was before she was kidnapped and put through that torture, because it was like 3 years. And she kind of reinvents herself as a private detective. And it's in this steampunk world. And it's by Joe Benitez and Michelle Choi, who I had the pleasure of meeting when I was at Fan Expo Boston a couple years ago. That would make a fantastic series, a steampunk detective.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. I'm down for that. So
thank you, Kelly, for reminding me that comics exists.
No worries.
But I'm actually gonna pull mine from a video game. As far as like a franchise hit, I mean, video game wise, you can go anywhere. But I mean, I've mentioned it before in this podcast earlier, but it's not going to be a surprise. Mass Effect. I think live action wise, a film franchise, if you just take the first arc of Commander Archer, Shepard. Sorry,
Shepard.
Mixing my shit with Enterprise. But if you take Commander Shepard and his battle against the Reapers, and you make that a trilogy, that is going to spawn infinitesimal amount of spin-offs and crossovers.
You're bringing the universe and crossing it over to a point where a lot more people will have eyes on it, and then because of that, a lot more people will play the game more so than what already have.
And it
might actually forgive Andromeda
Yeah, but here's the thing: you can have you can go two different ways with this as well with this Mass Effect idea, to where you could go the traditional film route, to where you have these epic, fantastical sci-fi movies about ultimately a race of sentient machines coming through and dishwashing the galaxy of all life and cleaning it away and saying, all right, start again. That epic tale, adding in a whole bunch of nice, cinematography and, visual effects, along with this heartful story of humanity saying, fuck you, we're staying right here, and we're going to help save the entire galaxy. Like, everybody fucking...
The casting, oh my God, the
all the way
casting
through.
was so well done in that game.
Exactly. Why this is like a key thing, that you could take this video game, like Sonic, like all these other stuff that they're looking at. You could take Mass Effect and make this a billion-dollar franchise hit.
So the biggest thing, the biggest
premise
question
of it.
I would say is, if you had a choice in the movie, would you go Bro Shep or Fen Shep? Because
Well, here's the other.
the original script
I
was to be
have
female.
now. Here's the thing: traditional film. That was my one idea. You can take the traditional film route with that series and make it good, or you could do the Bandersnatch with Mass Effect. Then you could have a femme shep and a male shep and still go through the same story, and then include your personal choices into that story, and then
The
make
only
it
problem with
epically
that-
rewatchable.
The only problem with that is that
Don't shit on my
video game-
idea.
I'm not shitting on the idea. I'm just saying
You just said there was a problem with it. I love that thought bubble. Don't pop it.
the only problem is that I would wait until video game movies actually have some cadence of being successful.
Fuck that.
'Cause
Make this the breakout hit, man. I mean, maybe not the Bandersnatch idea. Maybe the film, have somebody very, who was classically taught and is like, okay, I know how to make a film in my sleep. Like,
But you
and
would
have him
actually-
on it.
And
Get James Wan on it.
Let's get Coppola. to
James
do it.
Wan on a Mass Effect.
you would break a lot of people's hearts though, because everything in that movie would have to be then canonized.
Okay.
I don't care. Just give me a good fucking movie with James Wan directing. I'm fine.
Chris, let him go. That's his idea.
He keeps trying to keep me down, man. He's like the man.
And just make them work for it.
Big brother, do you have an idea of an intellectual property that should be a gigantic hit?
I'll say Grand Theft Auto because it was in the news. They talked about it when the first one came out, the third one, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But they could never come to a deal. I guess the film
That's a
company
good
was too
point,
much of
man.
film
That's a
company.
classic kind of property that, you got Goodfellas, you got a whole bunch of ideas just like that.
I tried to stay away from video games, but if I was going to do one, it would be Dead Space.
Ooh, that'd be a
a
great
good one.
horror. You make that a fucking 3D film too, and you'll have
Yeah.
people shitting themselves for weeks.
Remember the
Yeah.
game Fear? That'd be a good one to make a movie out
Yeah,
of.
that
too.
would be a good one.
Fear
But, I
would
mean,
be
we
great.
had those psychological thrillers though. So
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Dead Space would be like, it's a different take on the whole zombies because you have to
What
get
would be
rid
your
of their
ca-
limbs.
All right, if you
They,
had,
they should make Silent Hill into a movie.
They did,
tried.
and it
No,
sucked.
just kidding.
I almost think that horror is too
Had
easy.
Jon Snow in it.
Horror is too easy to adapt like anything in, because it's just like, is this scary? That could be a fucking horror film. But comedy, what comedy would you want from a video game series? Kat, we already know you're City Heroes, which would be an amazing comedy.
Conquer's Bad Fur Day.
That's a fucking layup. You don't get to do that because you always goddamn stream it. You have to think of another one. A good game as a comedy.
as a comedy.
The comedy.
You guys wouldn't know the game, but it's called Speedrunners.
No, I played that with you.
Crazy
Yeah.
Taxi.
Ooh, fuck, Cat with the slam
good.
dunk there. Shit. That's a great one. I would love to see that. Because
Chris,
then
could
you
imagine
also
those
have the,
characters.
you have the Guardians of the Galaxy thing to where you could have an amazing fucking soundtrack with it to really rip the movie too. That would be fucking great choice. Crazy Taxi? Damn.
Force.
Broforce? Oh, that would be.
Broforce.
You'd have to make that an animated motion feature.
Ooh, I got a really
You could
good
really fucking donk Broforce with that.
Battletoads.
Oh, you're just fucking speaking my language. You doing live action, CGI, or are you doing animated?
Animated.
Okay. All right.
That game was so hard to beat.
I'm calling it right now. Live action Mega Man.
Okay.
With modern graphics, you could really fucking nail that.
How would you make that a comedy? You said comedy.
Oh, come on. It's Mega Man. You can make
Mega
that a
Man's
comedy.
hilarious.
A whole bunch of fucking
Every time I think of Mega Man,
a whole
I'm
bunch of like he can make a whole bunch of like
His love
gay-
interest could be Nicolas Cage,
Shot
and
you
that's
in the
the
face.
comedy part.
Exactly.
Imagine the power up you get from him.
You're my brother. I've now cannibalized you and stolen your
Power
girl.
twerk.
playing on hard mode right there.
Yeah. Hard mode engaged. So I like Mega Man as like a live action because you get that it's almost like you can make it like that psychological thriller of this robot boy who's like, I'm alive, and then he kills his first baddie. He's like, oh, I have Cutman's powers, and now it's a fucking horror. It's like Brightburn because this robot is just absolutely murdering everybody just because he can get your powers.
Speaking of good shows,
And that's the comedy in it.
I'm about to go up and watch my show with Elise waiting for me. The Lock and Key came back on, and I love that show.
Yeah, I saw that
Okay.
they dropped a new season.
Yeah, we started it. We're on episode 4. So
All right.
I can't wait. It's such a good show. I don't know if you guys know what it is or not.
I'm not
but it's
familiar.
Yes,
It's
I
like
saw
a
the first season.
it's a
Okay.
fantasy show about this
Mhm.
family who are the Locks, and they live in a house called Key House, and it has a whole bunch of hidden keys that do different things.
And you can
Um,
tell they're fancy
They
because they
unlock
drink
different
tea.
doors and
Unlike- yeah,
boxes
it-
and things.
Different
drink
things like
tea
they
with
can
their
put a key inside of
pinky up.
somebody, and they can go inside their mind and implant things. Like
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
it's a cool show. It's
Okay.
It's
I
pretty good.
don't know the source material. I've only seen the show, but the first season was really hella engaging. The second season dropped, I think, over the weekend.
Yeah. It
It was
just came out.
very recently. It just dropped,
Yeah.
and I didn't even I just happened to be on my Netflix and saw, and I'm like, "There's
Mhm.
too many things." Like I've been on a TV sabbatical for like 2 months, and
Well,
now
Netflix-
it's like
Netflix
I'm
will do that.
overwhelmed with the amount of things that are.
We binge watched you. My wife
Availing.
Binge watched you, and then that's a good show too. And now we're on this.
So
I'm
there's a
gonna
lot of
leave you
stuff
with,
out there.
I'm going to leave you two with Portal
Oh.
and the Stanley Parable.
Ooh, yeah, those are two really great ones, especially Portal. Portal needs to be made into a live action.
Cake is a lot.
And then The Secret of Monkey Island. Why not?
Just CG Secret of Monkey Island. I think to keep that original.
Do the full
flair.
story and throw Secret of Monkey Island 2 in there too.
You got to make that a franchise, man. That's where they're coming in for the
What's
second
that
movie.
game everyone is talking about? Oh, Imposter.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
Imposter?
Among Us. Yes, Among
Among
Us.
Us. That's it. Among Us.
They can make a cartoon show out of that.
Yeah.
They could,
I think
and it would be
I think
funny.
they're already planning on it.
Oh, yeah.
Bet. I mean,
It'd be 100% a win. So
that sounds sus.
a bit sus. Like, you know what else is sus? Our website, pjandwh.com, where you are going to find all the crazy and luggy moments just from this podcast alone, right up top, as well as the eventual title of this podcast below. We want to end off this podcast the same damn way with the thank yous. We want to thank you to Mark Gervais, Moiselle Robinson, Frank Percy. We want to thank Kelly Collins for being on the show today. God damn, it's good to have him back.
We got him off the milk carton.
Yeah, man. Onto the digital teat. So, this, of course, is a long drawn out goodbye. I am your host, Matthew B. Grill, the Matt Man. In the Projector Box, we have Christopher Bristow, the old man. We have Kelly Collins, our Iron Kelly, as well as all the way from Thermoscara, Katarina Thermoscara, our wonderful woman. Our omnipotent presence that is Big Brother Stephen Bucarell, as well as our mascot, Hero of Time, Link Diablo. And of course, we love you. We miss you. We want to see you next week. Until then,